Hello everyone and welcome to Art Fibre Stitch. I'm Tracey and today I want to play with some sheer fabrics. Let's have a look at shears. What I find interesting about shears is, can you see that you have subtle variations of colour, and some shears are thicker than others. Oops, dropping everything. Let's just pop that one down over the top, or let's have that one over the top. Can you see how some of the ones that have got a bit of sparkle actually shine through? Yeah, so what I've collected is some different variations of shears. Isn't that delicious? Or, yeah, that's only just see-through, but look at it, that side, it's got a lovely shine. And some greys. That's a two-tone one, that's a gold and a grey. This one's very sheer. You virtually see everything through that. So using shears is what I was getting at. That's a pinky orange. Another one that's extremely sheer. And it doesn't have to just be that. It's just interesting to experiment with, you know, and see where it ends up. But whatever I do it on, I'm just wanting something light, very light, because it could end up with several layers. I don't want it to be too thick to sew through. So I think what I originally was using as my inspiration was that I went on a walk. Oh no, actually I started work early one morning, and there was fog, and there was the sun coming up, and there was silhouettes of trees. I'll show you now what I mean. Isn't that lovely? There's just so much moodiness there, but as the sun came up you got more and more colour in that sky. You had the silhouette of the trees, you had sort of indistinct shapes, you know, with a bit of fog on the bottom. It just, I don't know, I liked it. So I'm hoping to create all of that with that, and we'll see how we go. So I've just got a little piece here to use as my background. Like I said, something lightweight that you can, you know, it doesn't really matter about the colour because we'll be building colour up. So it's some, you know, I think it's just a matter at this moment to just discover, you know, discover colours. Really tricky. I don't know. So I think I'll start with a strip and see. Just start playing and see. Oh, there we go. I've got some orange in for a start. Sometimes it's better to just put anything down rather than concern yourself. And yeah, so what's it going to be? It's going to be something. Yeah, something misty down the bottom, isn't it? With little bits of, oops, well, maybe. This one's shiny. But what I want is something that's going to suggest some outline of the trees or something. I'm just looking in this because it's handy. I mean, I could even use that if I wanted, just to show you that I can use anything. That's a bit of Christmas fabric. But if I was going to, what would I do? So say I want to have a little background of trees. Let's just say I did it like, I don't know, work something out so it's sort of variations of triangles, shall we say, or so that it looks like the tops of trees perhaps. So Let's try starting to put things on top and just see what happens. Now, does that, it cuts it virtually all out, doesn't it? But if it was misty, you know, you would want it to be virtually out of there. This isn't going to work. It's going to just, but you're pretty, aren't you? That was too much. That's the kookaburras in the background. Yeah, so I definitely want something that's going to knock that back a bit. I don't think I've got anything right here. Might have to go and find some more bits and bobs. Alright, I've gotten myself a mountain of fabrics now. So now I've got plenty of different colours and textures and varieties to experiment with. Too dark. Are you too dark? No. So it could be you. Oh, it could be you. Sometimes it's lovely just to see. So, I'm not really committing myself. This is just a little bit of glue stick, but I'm just wanting to hold that thing down. Yeah, okay. I'm going to make it, it's probably always best to try and do a landscape or something, and it's not just in the center. So try and make it so it's down one end. I'm going to pop that in the beginning there, in the foreground, and I'm going to put that one on top. Something like that. I was looking at a colour that I could use that you can actually pick that up on, but that ain't it. Let's try this green. That was interesting. That was interesting too. I might just put a piece across like that to just break that up a bit. At this stage I'm just trying to create a silhouette a little bit, and it's not my final colour. I'm not that bothered. I just wanted something with the right amount of light and dark so that I could still see that, but hazy. No, maybe. See, this is a scarf I got from the op shop. Don't go thinking that it's expensive to get these things. It really shouldn't be. Oh yes. See, that obscures it a little bit, doesn't it? Just makes it sort of think, what is in the background? I'm not sure. But something like that would be good, because we can still layer it up with all kinds of bits and bobs. In fact, let's get some of that background thing happening. I'll put in a little bit less. This is, well, here they call it cigarette paper. It's just little bits of tinsely kind of stuff. But what I like is that it will be under layers and we won't see it quite so much, but it's kind of cute, isn't it? Okay, let's put a little bit of that there, and you know, let's have some orange. Let's pop the orange underneath. That's why I'm not going to town here yet, because I'm not attaching things down, because I don't know yet. So I'm just going to put that there, something like that, some of those, and I have that there just to break up that line, and that'll be on top. And I'm already starting to get something there. I think that is what I want. Not that. I did want to use some of this though, because it was, I don't know, it just has that sparkly. So what are we going to do with it? I don't know. Never know. I'm going to cut something ragged. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not cutting, I'm cutting sideways, see? Just running that along it, just so that it creates some sort of rough edge. I'm going to cut this one sideways as well and just see what it does, because that was interesting. Okay, I'm going to start it and just go pull. Oh, that one was like a rip, wasn't it? What's this one look like? That's a bit better. I've got these lovely. Look at this. This is silk. Used this before because it's just beautiful. Oh yes. All right. Let's. Now I'm thinking. I did like you though. So when I was out walking, I noticed that some things, and it was just layers of distinctness. You couldn't really see what some things were when they were really in the misty background. But and that's why we're doing that. So I go, no, you don't. I don't see you. I could even use 2 layers of this one if I wanted. Let me have a look. But this is why it's fun to just play sometimes. You don't know. I don't know. Oh, this was the purple. We put it there first. I like that. Okay. And oh yeah, we had the greeny one. How did that work out? Didn't work very well. But maybe it's meant to be something else. Maybe. Let's just do a raggedy edge again. Like a raggedy edge. Now what do we get? Something? Oh yes. Look at that. I love that one. You off. You. You. Okay, you're going behind though. Because it's all going to be trapped underneath other layers, we really don't have to worry about loose ends and things like that. We can just let's do what we want. Let's cut some bits out. What it is that I'm after. And all of a sudden it'll all start to come together and I'll think, yeah, that's it. That is it. No, that's not it. I'm gonna have some because I just think it's beautiful. Are we gonna see it? Don't know. I'd quite like to have some bits of that other poking through. I'm not going to make any uniform shapes. I'm just going to do this and hope that it looks like something. Now we had some yellows. Let's go for some yellows. But I've also got this. See, I had this. So that's going in. Sometimes these fabrics. See how it's a pearly grey. That's nice. And it's a shot something on the other side. Shot pink colour. That's pretty cool. Just see. I'll just cut something roughly just to see if I can use it. Probably be good to break up, blend those colours a little bit. It's a bit ripped, isn't it? Might go on top yet. So you've seen me humming and hawing and trying to decide what I like, but it's all fun, and that's what I advise. Just have fun with it and try different things and see how it all blends together. You know, you'll learn a lot about colour by layering and overlaying sheer fabrics up. You'll end up with completely different colours. So what I'm going to start with now is I'm going to grab some pins, and I am just going to commit myself to something and then build it up after that. I want all those bits to poke back in underneath. And then I'm going to just do some tacking, I think, through it, and that will hold it enough so that I can just pull it out afterwards and I'll have started my stitching. It's ironed a bit flatter now. I can still move things around to how I want them. How stunning you are. Or it could be a layer somewhere else, or it could be a layer with bits cut out. It could be anything your heart desires. Just doing like tearing and cutting and trying to do something like that. I can always cut bits out anyway, can't I? When you know what you want to do, just basically get a little bit of it tacked down with your glue stick. And if I just do a series of stripes across, because most of my stitching is going to be this way, so if I go the other way with my tacking, it'll hold some of those stratas, some of those layers, kind of where I want them. So we've made some decisions, and we have ironed it, and we have put the glue stick to dob little bits down, and we've put some tacking stitches in. Now it's time to start with some nice threads, and we're just going to go from side to side in sweeping lines, and what will happen is it will hold down some of those layers, and then we can remove the tacking. So use some different thicknesses, maybe 1 strand or 2 strands of stranded cotton, some lightweight pearl cottons, whatever, but make them similar colours so it all blends in. So some blues and some oranges and some peach kind of colours in that sky. That's not going to be all it is, that's just to get them anchored down. Now I think, seeing though we have so many layers of colour, that we could easily do this kind of thing, and I am thinking we will cut bits out and make it quite pretty. See how I have this bit of blue here sitting on its own. I liked the blue up against it, I don't have it. I've got a little bit of it here. Let's see this colour here. I think that would go with either. See, I think it could be used in a few different ways. I think it could be used here. I think it could be used in the sky, you know, as darker clouds. What I'm going to do at the moment is I'm going to just do something here. At this point, it could be a lot of things. It could be trees, it could be clouds, but the main thing is to hold that down. So later, when we want to do more stitching or cutting, we will have it held down. And now that we've done that top half at least, we can remove those tacking stitches because we're ready. So I'm just going to pop some lines in this bottom bit as well, so then we can pick the whole thing up. And then we'll just see what happens. Might be time for some of this again. Use this in a previous one. See, look how useful it is. I dyed it and it's got purple at one end and aqua at the other, and it just blends in with so many things. So I'm going to use some of that. Get a few lines in here. We can take the rest of that tacking out and we'll be a lot freer. It's beautiful because it blends that green into this purple. Yeah, I think once again I've taken what I was hoping was going to be something very simple, and I've made it quite an epic, haven't I? So I'm thinking this is another one that we'll just change into a 1 and 2 part. Because we've got some pretty things happening. I'd hate to spoil it by not doing it justice. So I love this. I love how I can pull it down to wherever I want it to be. But doing that has made this Christmassy fabric just a little bit too obvious. So at this stage I can still move things around. Just use my needle, I think. Bring that through. Oh, no, I can use my fingers. Fine. See? And I'll just add that little snippet of something in there. In fact, it could go a bit further and into that. There we are. And it's just obscured that pattern a bit. I might still pull bits of it out. I might put something on top of it, but we've done something. We've almost built our own piece of fabric by using interesting bits. Like all of my works, this is just something that will grow itself in the direction it wants to grow in, and I am making it up as I go along. So we may be adding bits in. You know, what I have in mind is to do some embroidered little trees in the background. Blend this in a little bit better. That colour wasn't quite right. Definitely need to do something in this section, but then all of this will be pretty plain. Sky, yes, a few more stitches up there. So what I wanted to say was I am going to do some more stitching across that holds it all down, and then we're going to bring in some details like I said, some embroidered trees or something across there. And then we might try some cutting out to expose the colours that we would like, because we've got a lot of colours in there behind that we can't really see, and I find that works quite well. So I think there's enough here that we stop right now, and then we will go to something, then we'll go to a second part. But let's just see if we could do something like that there. That would obscure that, wouldn't it? It's looking quite nice. It's very different, subtle shiny bits in there that you can't really see that well because they get covered up, you see, and that really works a treat, I think. And even that orangey colour we put in there is actually turned bronze, and that bit of green there would be nice. Do some sort of grasses across there, perhaps, something. So I think I'll leave it there, and trust me, we'll come back to it and it will be something very different. Right, well, I hope you have enjoyed it so far. My name's Tracey. Art Fibre Stitch is my business. If you have liked it, press like and subscribe. Get ready for part 2, and all of my links are below in the description. Thank you.